Hello and welcome to Small Scale Chatter. Oh, hello everyone. We are here today with Rob from My Mini Factory. I'm very excited to get talking to him. But before we do, I'll just remind you where you can find us online. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/geekgirlbookworm, where we sort of do all sorts of things behind the scenes for the podcast, including talking about guests and questions, voting who people want me to approach next and beg to be a guest. But yeah, you can join from as little as £2 a month over there and help us hit our first goal, which is to get a upgraded Podbean subscription, a monthly subscription, so that we can do lots and lots and lots and lots of cool things with the podcast part of the show. You can also find me at Linktree /geekgirlbw, and I'll put some links in the chat there as well for people if you're coming in. There's one and there's two. Now that I've done my part. Hi, Robert.
Hello, how are you doing? All right?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Very good, thank you very much. It's another beautiful evening here where I am, so yeah, making the most of it.
It's quite nice here in Nottingham as well. It's been a bit miserable all day, but actually, yeah, it's got nice blue skies now. It's probably
Excellent,
cold though.
always.
So, Robert, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're on the show with us today.
Okay, sure. So yeah, my name's Rob. I'm from the marketing and community team here at My Mini Factory. And if you don't know who we are, My Mini Factory is the world's leading STL marketplace and a huge community of 3D designers and 3D makers and people who are enthusiastic in 3D printing, people who are enthusiastic in tabletop, the entire shebang, really. Yeah, what we aim to be more than anything else is a place for 3D designers and makers to design and create STL files, which is the file type for 3D printing, if anyone's unaware. And it's a space for them to share their creations, make a living off of the creations, interact with other people who are enthusiastic about 3D printing, all of that. We obviously have the store as part of our service, but we as well have a crowdfunding platform and like a pledge manager platform for sort of post crowdfunding situations. And we've got a blog space that we encourage people to share their 3D printing stories, as well as lots and lots of different things as well.
Excellent. Wow, that is good. And I was already aware of My Mini Factory from my own 3D printing.
Yeah.
It has always been sort of my go-to place for STL files.
Good to hear.
Quite a few friends that are 3D printer artists and sculptors, so it's a nice way to support them as well. But yeah, I'm very glad to have you on and to talk about some of those aspects that you mentioned about the crowdfunding, about 3D printing at home and things like that. Yes, so you personally, you've come from you come to the team as a 3D designer, maybe in architectural
yes. Architectural visualization. So yeah, kind of a sort of a previous gig for me, I guess. The best way I'd always describe it to people when I'd had to describe architectural visualization is I'd ask, have you ever seen Grand Designs, the Channel 4 TV show? You know, they always have that bit at the start where they're like, this is what the house is going to look like when it's done. Like, I would basically be the guy that puts those sort of things together. We didn't ever do anything specifically for Grand Designs, but along those sort of lines. Very close to sort of interior design and things. But yeah, it was only actually around 2 years ago, just under 2 years ago. I decided I wanted to kind of make a move into something that was more community based and a little bit more marketing based. And I've always been a fan of tabletop and board games and that sort of thing. And saw My Mini Factory come up as a place to be, and here I am, pretty much.
Oh, so you mentioned tabletops and things.
Yes.
Are you a gamer? Do you play board games, war games, RPGs? Tell me.
Yeah, so I come from more of a sort of a board game, video game background by a long shot. Obviously, at the moment, we can't already meet up together and play a lot of board games over a table, which is a big shame. However, since kind of we've all been shut in our houses, I've used a lot of Tabletop Simulator and played lots of stuff over Tabletop Simulator with friends. It's something that we kind of do quite regularly. So we play a lot of Ticket to Ride. Mainly, it's a nice thing to play in the background. yeah, so a lot of variations of things like that. And then from a kind of a previous life, I was very much a 40k fan. So did a lot of collecting and some painting, but where I grew up, there wasn't much of a in-person gaming scene, so I never really kind of played. But I was always a big fan of the art style, especially as some of my 3D design background. I was always a big fan of like character art and all that kind of stuff. And 40k always caught my eye. It was always great looking.
Yeah, it's really, really good looking. Yeah, I enjoy. I collect all the minis and I paint all the minis, but I am also yet to actually play a game.
Yeah, and so I feel like that's like maybe one of the best parts of the whole deal is that you can pick which part clicks with you the best and focus on that, right?
Yeah, exactly. I want to play some of the games, but also I don't want to spend all this time painting minis and then for my characters to like die terribly in like 5
exactly.
minutes.
Yeah. You have to deal with the loss.
You mentioned video games as well. What video games? I'm interested. Tell me.
Oh, anything and everything really. So I try and play some stuff once again, shut inside, can't really see my friends. So we try and play some stuff online. I have a friend who does some streaming, and then we've been playing Borderlands 2 of all things, very outdated, but we wanted something that so he runs the stream session and three of us play Borderlands 2 with him while we run a very terrible agony aunts situation online. So purposefully bad agony aunts and playing Borderlands 2. But yeah, anything, absolutely anything. So I'm super into puzzle games. I'm just about to start Disco Elysium. I've heard that's very, very good. So yeah, get into a lot of different stuff. I mean, it was another one of the things that kind of caught my eye with my mini factory was the props and cosplay side of things as well.
Yes.
Very interested into that side of stuff. Do a bit of photography, so like kind of going to conventions when there are conventions, and taking photos of some people's great cosplay and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I'd love to get into cosplay, but I can't sew or make things like that ever.
You can always 3D print it. That's a good start.
I would have to then work out how to make it big enough to fit me.
Yeah, so you need like get some bigger ones.
It's giant.
Yeah, it's
teeny tiny. I can't be trusted. Oh, well, I just realised we're talking about my mini factory. Maybe people want to know where to actually go to when we go to my mini factory. Let's shove that link in the chat there as well. So here we go, myminifactory.com. Nice and easy. Make sure you go and check that out. Okay, so let's talk about my mini factory some more. We've talked about you. We've talked about video games. So you were mentioning that it's sort of my mini factory is like a community for artists and sculptors and designers to sort of touch base with their fans.
As well as marketplace.
Yes. Yeah. When I say touch base, I mean show off their minis for people to buy.
No, I got you.
Why do you think that artists and designers are coming to my mini factory? What makes my mini factory like special for them?
Oh, that is a good question. So I would very much hope the first thing is that we are a really welcoming place to come and be involved with, especially as a designer. One of the things I kind of didn't mention before about my 3D design background is that I had previously worked freelance as well. And so I'm very aware of how daunting and stressful it can be to be an independent designer, which an awful lot of these guys are. And kind of the pressures that it comes with of like, can I make enough money this month to pay rent, etc., having to deal with difficult clients. So I would very much hope that we are able to give them a place that they can forget all of that rubbish side of it, really, and be incredibly independent, and create exactly the things that they want, and then also make a very generous living off of those things as well. So I mean, that's hopefully number one. And the other things is like the tools and the services and the support that we're able to provide them on top of that. So I mean, in short, if you can design anything 3D and you can print it, then you're able to upload it with us, and you're able to have a profile page, and you're able to allow people to download your designs, so you can get started from almost nothing. If you want to design something, then you can get it out there, which is a very low barrier of entry that we want for everyone. Inclusive as possible for everyone, and then just empower the designers who want to then go on to make this a monetary value for them as well. We also the designer receives 90% of everything that is sold via My Mini Factory, and we also absorb the payment processing fees as well. So therefore, yeah, we want to make sure that we're not just nickel and diming people. We are there supporting them, because if they do well, then we do well. Like My Mini Factory really isn't anything without its designers. So yeah, the support that we can provide with that. And then finally is the connection with their audience and their community, and the ability to be able to have back and forths and yeah, interact with the community as much as possible, and also just kind of release their files and distribute their files in the easiest way possible, which other places which they might use Kickstarter or Patreon just don't provide as well. So that's kind of a lot of different pieces that all come together to make hopefully a very nice place for a designer. And yeah, it tends to happen that a designer will work for us and hopefully work with us, and have a very nice time, and then they have designer friends which they say the same thing, and it spreads from there.
Yeah, I from a consumer point of view, like I found so many really cool designers like through My Mini Factory. Like I went on there because there's a few sculptors that I know and I love their stuff. But then when you start like skimming through it, sort of just like searching for random things, you just find like there's so many amazing things. There's so many different like styles as well. Like it really feels like there's something for like every sort of tabletop, every sort of painter. I like bright, bold colors, and so I like things that are a bit silly and a bit fun, and you can get that with and then there's also that sort of more grim dark sort of area as well for those people who prefer their monsters and things to be less cuddly and more scary.
Yeah, totally. So obviously I'm on the website an awful lot, and every single day I see a new designer who's come up with something that I've never seen before, and I instantly want to like download it and start putting it straight away, and see it in person. And yeah, the talent that is out there is mind-blowing all the time. I'm just absolutely blown away by it all.
Hello. I'm just going to say hello. Thank you for coming along and saying hello as well. That's nice. Anyone else in chat, if you want to just say hello to us, we're happy to just stop and say hello to you. So one of the other things I noticed when I was like browsing the website trying to think of what we're going to chat about was that you had these like print and paint competitions that some of the designers are doing. Is that sort of something that you've helped sort of push them to do, to sort of engage with their communities, or is that sort of someone came to you and said, I want to do this thing, and you were just like, whoa, this sounds amazing?
Well, a mix of both of those things, really. Yeah, I feel like a lot of the designers see it as a really valuable tool to engage with their community. And yeah, especially along the lines of if you're a designer and you put out 3D printable miniatures and you run a competition and 100 people submit fantastically printed and painted versions of your designs, the motivation that's got to come back with is got to be incredible. So yeah, that side of stuff of the engagement is very, very important. But also, yeah, we have run a huge amount of competitions in the past, working with the likes of like Capcom, and we've done stuff with Nintendo, Pokemon Go, more sort of kind of technical design style things to kind of encourage people's creativity to design something from scratch. And yeah, and then also from a kind of a user or community member point of view, being able to submit something that you've painted and have your favorite designer go on to pick it out and recognize it is it's got to feel pretty special. Can't say I'm a good enough painter to feel that that kind of thing just yet, but yeah, so that's kind of the side of things where it's more still opening up this back and forth, and some of that is we've encouraged designers to create their own competitions, and an awful lot of it is people coming to us and saying this would be perfect idea if I could do this and this, and we're able to facilitate that for them.
That's great. I can imagine as well, so my sculpt friends that I know, they don't actually paint miniatures. They sculpt because they like, that's their thing. They like to do 3D sculpting, but they don't actually paint their miniatures. So when they have them to then have to show off a miniature, and it's best is to have it painted. And either you can pay a lot of money to get a professional painter to paint it for you, or you can ask your community to paint it, and then you can show it off that way using and I just think that's a really great, especially for smaller smaller sort of designers, that's sort of the perfect way to help them build up, one, a big fan base, and two, that sort of extra bit of marketing as well that sort of shows off their idea that they had in their head and then on their screen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was going to say there's kind of no better piece of promotion you can have than a fantastically painted miniature that's one of your designs. It's like people can see the final goal straight away, and they get the idea, and then they have their own ideas, and then they want to get involved themselves.
Yeah, I think that would be the best thing. Like, I don't sculpt things I can't sculpt, but if I did, like, seeing everyone's take on my mini, that would be the best thing, because I love like just scrolling through my Twitter feed, and it, like, you know, new models come out and everyone is like, oh, it's an amazing new model, and everyone's painted it so differently with different palettes, and it's just like, oh, it's wonderful. I always like save so many. It's like, oh, I hadn't even thought of that color with that color. Oh, smush them. Amazing. Yeah. I think it's great for me.
A good example of that is we had a competition from Print Your Monsters relatively recently, because they had a part of a crowdfunding campaign as well, and one of their kind of, you know, very popular models was this kind of majestic tree. And so what we did was we had a competition entry that was based just on this one tree model, and so it was left up entirely to the painters to do the most inventive thing they could with it. And so the range of entries that we got from this one tree is incredible. People painted it, or obviously through the seasons, people did different things and added birdhouses. Other people made it look more like an alien escape. It was really cool. And the versatility of it looks great for everyone, really. Yeah,
and if it also has that sort of ability to be painted in different ways, then people are more likely to sort of paint multiples of them as well. You wouldn't just, if you want to do them for all seasons, you print 4 of them off and you put them all together, and then that even makes a massive impact with people looking at it and go, whoa, those 4 trees, where'd you get them from? And they could be like, boom, this is where I got them from.
Yeah.
New sale.
Exactly that.
It's good. So we've been talking a little bit about crowdfunding. You've been hinting around it, and it's quite a new-ish thing for you. Was it Christmas? Was it with here? Raising Heroes, wasn't it? They did a Christmas one, which was very cool. And it's not something that I've seen from like any other sort of 3D print online sort of company. So why did you decide to take this route, and how's it going?
So to answer your first question, the kind of Raging Hero situation that we had before Christmas. So one of the kind of main motivators is something we definitely wanted to do for a while. But one of the key motivating factors for us to launch our own crowdfunding service was they kind of people who had approached Kickstarter and tried to work at Kickstarter just found that they really weren't being catered to in any way, shape or form, specifically for like STL file distribution and crowdfunding and all this sort of stuff. And so, when it came to it, we had an opportunity that we were able to, run this crowdfunding campaign for Raging Heroes. There was a Christmas themed one, and get it up and running for Christmas. And have that launch as our first one, and it was amazingly successful. Raging Heroes were very, very happy, and everything kind of snowballed from there. Good pun for Christmas. And we have run 3 since then, and we have another 4 coming up in May. So we can only see it kind of stepping up constantly each month from there.
Excellent. So are there any that you can tell us about at all? You want to talk about?
Yes, there's loads of upcoming ones, and just to list off some of the ones that we had run so far this year. So I mentioned Print Your Monsters before. We had them run just at the end of January, and they've run, I'm not sure how familiar you are with your Print Your Monsters designer, but they had this huge array of like sort of terrain-based plants. It was called Fantastic Plants and Rocks Volume 2. So you can kind of imagine what was in it. But they were very, very fantastical. I really like the Print Your Monsters design. You were mentioning you like things that are big and bold colors. That is kind of their MO, and they look incredible. And then shortly after that, we had our own principal Terrain with us, who had a more traditional D&D campaign kind of miniature pack. But the main thing with them is that it was this huge selection of terrain minis that was on offer, for a really, really affordable price, as part of it too. And then something very, very different that we had come right after it was by a designer called Mechanistic, and he is it's still currently live. It's a Tourbillon Mechanica tri-axle clock. Which sounds, it's quite a phrase to say. If you're able to see the design, then it kind of explains it a little bit better than what my words can do. But yeah, he previously launched a product with us, or a 3D design with us last year, and it was incredibly popular among basically everyone, and even people that were not tabletop fans but looked at this as something a little bit different too. And it's a mechanical, it's a big project style idea that you pick it up to have it as a construction project, and it's like the fun begins as soon as you start trying to print it, basically. And so coming up, the biggest thing we've got is next Tuesday, so that's the 4th of May. We have Ian Lovecraft's Feywood launching, which is so Ian Lovecraft before has previously run 11 Kickstarters, I believe, 11 successful Kickstarters. So he's definitely a bit of a veteran in this game. And his next one is going to be with us, very kindly. And so he's launching on Tuesday with a huge range of. So it's called Feywood, and so it's very kind of elven wood based stuff. I know I mentioned that there was a free mini people can currently get. You may have already put out the link, I'm not sure.
I'm just about to. So this is the Feywoods. Yes, the woods are wild. Yes, so anyone listening or watching, you can go to myminifactory.com/pages/Feywood-sample-mini and get a free miniature downloaded. And she looks really cool. Like, she's a really cool centaur. Well, she's sort of like this lady on this banner, but she's a centaur, obviously. She's pretty cool. She
is really cool. And I've seen a few more of the designs as well, and they're equally as cool. And then there's terrain included as well, and all that sort of stuff. So if people are happy to follow the link, all you have to do is chuck in your email address, and you're able to download the STL file straight away, pre-supported as well, ready for 3D printing.
Oh, nice.
Yes, very, very nice.
Good
and then also you'll be emailed about the updates on the campaign as soon as they come across, and then also get updated as soon as it launches on Tuesday.
She looks very cool. I'm very excited for this. I'm gonna put I'm just doing that very quickly. There we go. I've subscribed.
Downloading it, send it to the printer, get it sorted. So I mean, that's just one of the more that we have coming. So to very quickly list off some of the other ones, I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Go for it.
We have a new Numenera crowdfunding campaign that's coming up, which is being produced by Leia. So I don't have too many details to give out on that just yet, but that is launching on the 18th of May. Another crowdfunding campaign by the designers Printera on the 13th of May, and at the end of the month, we have a crowdfunding campaign by Rocket Pig Games.
Yes, I know.
Yes. So they're a huge designer, and they've got over 1,000 items with us on My Mini Factory. So huge back catalogue of incredibly cool looking minis.
They do a lot of terrain stuff, don't they?
Yes, and their style was always kind of cool and gothic, and a little bit sort of like that. You're talking about grimdark, closer to that side of things.
I think I've got some of their less of their monsters, but I have their old mock Tudor buildings.
Yes,
and
they look real, a little bit sort of bloodborne-y, that type of thing. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, I have a lot of them. Just looking at them.
And so they are going live on the 27th of May. I know that was an awful lot of details, but it was watch this space basically. If you're visiting My Mini Factory, there's always going to be something new every day.
Yeah, and it pops up if you just go onto the homepage, it's right there at the top, all the new things that are happening. Very easy website to navigate as well. Which I like. I like when things like, oh, this is the new thing. So you can just be like, oh, that was easy. I want the new thing. I mean, that's me personally. I'm lazy like that. Okay, so as well as the crowdfunding that you've got and the print and paint competitions and just the being awesome to artists and designers, you also have my Mini Factory Plus, which is a subscription
Yes.
service, which is
Yes.
also really cool. Tell us a little bit about that, because I know about it. I'll let you talk about it.
For sure. So MMF Plus is a premium subscription service. We wanted it to be kind of like a one-stop place for 3D printing enthusiasts to be able to go to get everything they need from start to finish for their 3D printing hobby. So one thing that it gets you access to after you subscribe is a huge 50% off STL library, of which is grown every single month. We have new designers who are submitting stuff to be as part of that library every single month. And then also on top of that, there are 3 free STL files as part of your subscription. So that's all included too, as well as kind of exclusive discounts on printer hardware and also kind of the materials and resources needed. So you can have, we've got discounts on resin and printers from Frozen, and we also have discounts on Vallejo paints and the Da Vinci brushes. And so it's kind of like what you would look to want as part of the hobby is also there for you too. And one of the kind of biggest parts of it is you get a site-wide 10% discount on STL files as well, and that is set up in such a way that it doesn't affect the kind of 90% that the designer still receives. So therefore, it's like their take home is not affected in any single way. So it allows you to kind of support the community as well, as much as you'd kind of like to. So people were able to come to us and subscribe on either a monthly or yearly basis, and get all of those benefits straight away.
Yeah, I like that you also, as you mentioned, you can buy 3D printers from you and all of those like parts as well. Because I think sometimes it can be very daunting. I know it was for me, like trying to find out like what printer I was going to get. It's quite nice to just be like, okay, I'm going to upgrade it. I'm going to get this one because I get some money off of that. Oh, look, there's resin as well. That's nice. Oh, yes. And then when I print these things, I'm going to need some paints. Here's some paints and some brushes. Push it all in a basket. Send it to me. It's so cool.
Yeah, we absolutely wanted to make the idea of taking the first step into 3D printing for tabletop to be as undaunting as possible, because I've relatively recently done the same thing myself, and from the outside looking in, it looks daunting, but it really, really isn't. As soon as you're inside, everything falls into place, and it is far more like plug and play than you could ever kind of imagine. So we want to make sure people know that as much as possible too.
Yeah, I will say that if you're ever scared, like if I can work out how to
and the same for me. If I can do it, then anyone can do it. Yeah.
Anyone who knows me who's watching this knows that I am not tech savvy at all. And yet I can use my 3D printer, I can set it up, I can make sure that it's balanced, and I can print really good things with it.
Yeah.
So I am currently putting off changing the LED screen on mine.
Oh, okay, right.
It's gone, and I'm like, oh no, I don't want to.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That I will be honest, that's a little bit more daunting, but fair enough.
Yeah, there are YouTube videos of your friend. Just watch. I'm going to do that sometime. I promised myself this week I will do it. It's very cool, and I have my Mini Factory Plus. I would say I got the Vallejo game inks as well that come with it, and that was really cool. For anyone who's interested in how you use game inks for my own personal ink, I did do a video on the different ways that you can add inks to your painting and up your game. Because inks
I was going to ask, how did you get on with them, and hope you enjoyed them and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I do. I really like inks because they're really, really, they're versatile. Like people look at them and think, oh my God, what am I meant to do? These are things like, what can I use them for? Because they're not like traditional paints, but you can use them to just make washes and glazes. You can use them straight as like a varnish to add like depth to it. You can mix them with contrast medium and make your own contrast paints. mix them together to get like a really deep color. You can add them into the paints that you're already using to sort of boost the color. If you want something that's like really yellow, pop in some yellow ink and you've got a really yellow paint going on there. And they're really versatile. They're really good and handy to have on your table just to sort of pull out at a moment's notice.
Accompaniment with other things and stuff.
Yes, like yeah, which is I think really important because, like, I don't know, most painters, if they're like me, have like hundreds of paints because you just need every color. And if you're just starting out, that can be like really, really daunting. Just be like, oh, I don't have all the colors. But if you have a set of inks, you can make more of the colors and easier, bigger, brighter ones. So I say gaming's the way forward because I really, really enjoyed them. And they're good for OSL as well, which is object source lighting. So if you're trying to make that glow of a lamp or of a fire below you, they're really good to help build up that underlying color before you start adding the paint.
The vibrance is there to kind of come through.
Yeah, it's cool. They're really, I highly recommend them. And the Da Vinci brushes are very nice as well. Very soft. I've been using them since I got them, and the point is still there on them, which is like one of the things that's most annoying.
always a good sign.
Yeah, I'm not precious with my paintbrushes. I'm very mean to them a lot of the time. I am a bit like stabby. But yeah, they've still got a nice point to them, and the dry brush works really well. So yeah, I say it's all a win.
Yeah, when we were kind of looking into the kind of paintbrush people to work with, we went out and I basically asked the community kind of, what do you guys feel like works great? And yeah, Da Vinci always came back to us as in, this is what people recommended. That's what they liked using. Yeah. That's what they kept using. So yeah, it felt like a no-brainer.
Yeah, they're nice and they're very soft as well. Like the bristles are very soft. They're very, I don't know the right word, but they move well on the miniature and through the paint.
Okay.
They hold
well. Have flow. Is that the right word?
Yeah. Flow. Yeah, they have some flow. They have a nice body to the brush, so they hold your paint well. And yeah, I like them. I'm not very good with the technical terms. Someone more technical than me will probably point out that I've used all the wrong terminology. And that's fine. So when I was looking through the website, I also saw this part of it called Scan the World initiative, which I was like, this is really cool. And it's obviously goes off the topic of miniatures and tabletop, but like it's really cool. Like how did this sort of whole initiative come about, and like how can people get involved?
Yeah, so that's one thing I think every single person who comes to my factory, no matter what their kind of background hobby is, anyone who sees Scan the World says, this is cool, because it is just really cool. And I was exactly the same, actually. It was one of the things that really attracted me to my factory, because I feel like anyone can connect to scanned museum pieces, scanned sculptures. I think everyone's got some sort of interest in something, right? So yeah, Scan the World was started by John, who is someone who's been with my manufactory for a very, very long time. It originally started as an art project and ended up kind of becoming part of my manufactory, becoming a very big part of my manufactory. So basically, he started scanning things, went to museums and scanned things, scanned sculptures, and then he was able to upload them as STL files, which you can download in 3D print. And then he ultimately was able to build a community around this. They were doing like scan together meetups where they'd meet up and go around a museum and scan all together. And then afterwards do, uploads, make sure they're all kind of 3D printable and work from there. And then that kind of basis was able to grow what is ultimately this global Scan the World community that exists right now. There are people all over the world that are scanning any sort of kind of cultural artifact or artwork that they can get to, and then uploading that as an STL file to Scan the World. And every single thing is 100% free to download and 3D print yourself as well. So yeah, if you feel like printing Michelangelo's David, then you can do that right away. Have your own little statue, and there's the library of Scan the World is absolutely endless as well. I believe there's thousands and thousands of uploaded scans. So there's an awful lot to get involved with there, which is really cool. And ultimately, anyone who has the ability to scan can get involved. So even if you can scan on your phone these days with, I think it's photogrammetry. I want to say, I'm not an expert on this. Ultimately able to scan something as an STL file or with a hand scanner, they're becoming far more affordable. Able to go and scan things, upload it to Scan the World, and you're straight in there as part of the community as well.
You know, I really want to see like a RPG, like dungeon crawl-esque through a big like museum, and people have 3D printed all of these really cool like bits of art and then made this whole museum for you to like wander through. I want that. Someone do that.
That sounds like a very good idea, which I will note down and approach to Scan the World for as some sort of marketing event. I think that sounds great.
That'd be so cool. Yeah, like
Yeah.
once like people are in real life again, get some of them famous RPGers to come in and have a dungeon crawl for a museum where you can actually like see the Michelangelo's David and see all that. Oh, that'd be so cool. Do it. Invite me as well. It's my idea. I have to.
You have the rights. Okay, fair enough. We'll talk about terms and conditions later on. Okay.
Yes, that's my only stipulation. I have to be a guest, and when it's like all these famous people, it's like, and Anjuli.
That's right. It'll be fine. No. Also, just say and Rob. Oh, that's what I'm going to call it.
Hi. we're not famous, but hey,
we're here as well. We're also here.
I felt like I got to play a game with Stefan from Dungeon Forge.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh my god. It's like
it's never that easy to come across that cool around people that you know very well from the internet, is it? I've had some experiences myself.
Yeah, I did not hold my cool well. Okay, so what are the sort of long-term plans for My Mini Factory? Like, where do you see yourself in like 2 years, 5 years, 10 years down the line?
So we've got an awful lot on the horizon for My Mini Factory, but not all of it I can talk about right this second. Some of it is a little bit secret, but I can talk about a few different things for sure. I mean, as I mentioned before, we are kind of very community focused, and we really want to keep facilitating the growth of both our designer and maker community, because in short, if they grow, we grow, and we are them in as well. So that's a thing that is always top of our list, to make sure that the people who are here want to be here, and the people that turn up want to stay. That's kind of always our long-term plan. Diversification is one thing. You may have seen that with what I mentioned before about the mechanistic design, where there's an expansion outside of tabletop. So there's more communities coming together, and I think there's especially within 3D printing in general, there's a huge overlap between people's interests and hobbies as well. So there's an awful lot of people that love tabletop that also may have like an FDM printer and love printing machinery and mechanics, and so expanding one side also means an expansion of another, and we're able to make people come and feel very welcomed and included as part of all of that. And we've also kind of a part of that, we have a recently set up a Reddit subreddit for ourselves. So actually, if I'm happy, I'll drop a link for that in just a minute. That's our 3D print community, and so we want to have places that aren't just based around having a store or a place to purchase things. It's more of a place for people to share, people to communicate. So we have that going, as well as, sorry, I have some notes and I need to go back to them. Yes, lots of different things. And also obviously we've got lots of new kind of tools that are going to be coming up. So as well as our crowdfunding and things, more of a walk down those roads. So one thing I was going to say is if you would be happy to do something like this again, I would absolutely love to come on and explain about some of those things when they are live and when I am okay to talk about them.
Yes.
So that's kind of what we've got going forwards for the next few months at the very least.
Oh, that's very cool. I do want to get into like 3D sculpting, but I wouldn't know where to start. Can you sort out some sort of like beginners lessons with some of your designers. That would be really, really cool. Like if there was like a couple of people who design miniatures and were happy to like do that sort of thing, just doing like short courses on how to, use the different, programs that are available, where things like that. That would be kind of a cool, like, even if it was like a subscription for like a couple of months, you pay for a subscription to this particular course or something. Put that on your list.
So like tutorials is one thing that we are looking into as well. We have some work coming up with some YouTubers who are doing some different tutorials on the idea of like pre-supporting things and stuff like that. So, and that's working directly with some of our designers on site as well. Awesome. So the designers who work with us. And Nigel, actually going even further into that and having the sculpture side covered too, I think sounds like a really good idea. It's really good to hear that you'd like to also go even further behind the curtain and you not just see how the sausage is made, but make the sausage yourself, I guess, as well.
Yes. I would. I'm never going to be as good as obviously the people that I idolize on here, but like just being able to be like, okay, I really need this like one weird little thing. If I could just like make this thing, I don't have to spend like 5 hours looking around all the
looking for something.
Eventually not buying the thing that I wanted, but buying a whole load of other things.
Because you've had to look for other stuff that you want, and you eventually get that. I mean, and then there's also obviously if you made that little thing and you were happy with it, there's nothing to stop you putting it up and having your own little profile page and having other people to download it. That's kind of
weird things.
That's how the can of worms opens for sure.
That's what the shot will be called. I made this and I'm not sure why.
I actually quite like that. That's really good. It's really intriguing.
They would be terrible. Okay, so I've come to sort of like the end of our questions, which is really cool. I've got a couple from social media.
Cool.
So people watching, if you're in chat and you have any questions, please pop them up now. But we'll go through this. So I had one asking if you play any miniatures based games, and if so, which ones do you want to play, or if you don't, are there any that you really want to play?
So other than basically a bit of D&D when I'm able to, there's one thing we actually used to do back in the office when we were in the office is we had shout out to Alistair, who's a fantastic DM. He'd run one shots for us. So our kind of Friday evening pub trips would occasionally just be Friday evening D&D one shots, which is very good, very, very good fun. And of course, being in the kind of office that we always had a good library of miniatures to choose from, and a good library of like terrain to be able to base the campaign around. So that was always great fun. But unfortunately, because of not being able to meet people face to face that much anymore, apart from Tabletop Simulator, not a load. However, one of the kind of people we've been working with recently was Modiphius, who are the people that put together.
I love Modiphius.
Yes, they are great, absolutely amazing. And I have been looking into their Fallout tabletop game. I can't remember exactly the name of it off the top of my head. Wasteland Warfare.
It's skirmish, isn't it?
Yes, and one of the things that really attracted me is that it's got a load of scenarios that you can play on your own, so you can do single player scenarios. And so I really like the idea of being able to do that. And their miniatures look awesome as well. They've got a cool build your own vault, like kind of almost like Lego setup, and it's wicked. And I'm a big fan of Fallout as well, so I like the idea of doing that a lot.
I've got a lot of their Skyrim stuff.
Yes, it's really cool. I believe they've also got a board game for Skyrim coming out soon as well. I'm not sure, but they're doing some great stuff.
Yes, I like Modiphius. They are nice people. I did some painting in their studios.
Oh, cool!
Before Christmas, before the lockdowns happened.
Oh yeah.
The day before Dragon Meet. So I went to Dragon Meet, and then the day before we did some painting in the offices, and it was cool. They are nice people. It's one of the best things for me because obviously I work in board games and that sort of side of it. So I get to hang out with all the cool people at the shows and with friends. I'd be like, please, I love your stuff. Please let me know when all the new stuff comes out first.
Yeah.
Because I want it.
I can play test it for you. That's one of the things I can definitely do.
Yes. And I have done that. So I've done that for Free League, for their
cool.
Alien RPG.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So excited when I got the book. I was like, oh, that's my name. Exciting. I'm in a book. I didn't write it. I can't write.
That's cool. That's cool.
Ah, right. So you mentioned actually that you just got yourself a printer. So do you yourself print and paint any miniatures? And if
Yes.
so,
Yes to printing. I've got something to show you. Give me a second.
Yes.
Hold on, I've got a thing. Sorry, I had to look at my back there. So we're talking about Fallout. I've been printing the. Oh, I'm not sure if this is going to be in focus or not. So that's the little Vault Girl that we've got on site at the moment. So yeah. So to be fair, I've quite like printing these just to be able to play with my printer and see what I can get out of it. And one of the things that I enjoyed the most actually was being able to scale these up and scale them down and have different sizes of things. So sorry, just hit my camera. And then on top of that, this was one of the free miniatures that was available as part of the RM Printable Terrain campaign, and it is such. I'm really not sure if that's visible. Sorry, I only got a tiny little screen on my computer, so it's this really, really nicely detailed sort of Gimli style model. So yeah, a really cool dwarf.
Great big bushy beard.
Yeah, exactly. I'm basically always really impressed with what the quality comes out like. And one of the other things, mentioned games that I've been playing with my friends to stay in touch. Well, we can't really meet. I'm not sure if you heard of Among Us, the little space game. So I had printed little toys of these guys, which are from a designer on my mini factory. And the best thing about them is they do split apart and become the little dead body. And also, and talk about scaling things up. One of the things is because I wanted to send these to my friends as gifts, basically say, oh, thank you very much for kind of staying in touch and everything. So I printed a very, very big one, which also splits in half as well. So yeah, so that's kind of I like when it comes to 3D printing, especially. I like the customizable side of it, like those, especially those Among Us things. Like that's not something you can get anywhere else. It's kind of like, if you buy a card for someone from a card shop, that's great. But if you make a card and give them a card from there, that's always really cool, isn't it? So I'm kind of using it a bit like that. I like being able to give gifts to my friends, and then they will absolutely love these. I want to turn a couple of them into like keychains and things. And because a couple of my friends they're married with partners, and we've all been playing Among Us together. So one of them can have one half of the body, one of them can have the other half, that sort of thing. But for painting, not as much at the moment. I very much want to do a lot more, but a little bit down to my skills and kind of space and a bit of time to be able to do it. Back that I mentioned about being into kind of 40k when I was a little bit younger. Yeah, I did a lot more painting then. But all I need to do is buy a set and buy some brushes, and then I think I will open the door right back up to all of it again.
Oh no, you're gonna fall through it and just keep tumbling down.
Yeah, I know, exactly. And one of the things I'm lucky enough to be able to do at the moment is I'm in contact with a lot of like painting YouTube channels, obviously yours included. And any single time I'm watching a video of someone painting something incredible, I'm like, oh, I really want to be doing this right now as well. So I'm gonna crack eventually. So it's gonna happen.
One of us.
Yeah, no, exactly it.
Oh yeah, I have like so this week I haven't done any painting. I've been very just work has been very busy, and I'm like, oh, could really just do with a little bit of painting. But I do have like a whole room just like dedicated to it, where it's set up all the time. I don't have to think about putting things away, getting things back out again. Like I sit down at this table when all of my stuff is ready, and I can just paint. Providing that I actually tidied up the last time I did it, because I'm pretty bad at not tidying up. So I have to spend an hour tidying things up before I can sit down. But it's that helped a lot with my
having space. I think that's But I tell you what, I don't really need a kitchen, do I? I don't need a dining table that much, so that's all right. I can leave my desk, be fine.
And what you're saying about staying up as well, that's one of the things I love about 3D printing, because I haven't done a lot of like painting larger scale. It's all been like 28 mil, because I started when I started doing D&D models for our table, and then I did some Warhammer stuff, which is just a tiny bit bigger scale, but not really doing any busts or any like larger scale things. And I like that I can just like be like, oh, this is really cool. I want to paint this like this big.
Yeah.
Provided I've got the resin for it, I can do
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
Which is,
you're only limited by what your printer can do, but then even that is like kind of getting bigger and bigger anyway. So
so I printed out some stuff that was like this little 28 mil like roller girl, and she's like on these like inline skates, but she's like cyberpunked. And I was like, that's really cool, but I wanted this big, so I made it like this big. And then she's on like a massive like 100 mil base to like balance her out, and it's like, this is cool. I like this a lot. Yeah, and that's one of my favorite bits about 3D printing, is that you can just print it as big or as small as you want. There's no like limits to it, and it's not difficult to do either. Remember, I could do it. If you're out there saying, I'm not sure I can do this, you can, because I can do it. I believe in you. I worked it out.
Was it mostly with Cheatybox? Was the software reason? Yeah, because I mean that's what I use, and I mean the best thing about that is it's free. So if you're able to open it and move around a little bit, that's kind of all you need to know, right? So one of the things,
and how to put supports on if it doesn't come with supports. That's the big challenge, is learning.
It feels very challenging to put supports on things, but as I say, that is something that designers are doing far more themselves, and it means that you kind of end up with something that once it prints, you just literally peel it away from what's there, and it's almost easier than cutting something out of a spool or net or anything like that. It's getting a lot easier all the time.
Yeah, definitely. If I see something is like pre-supported, like I'm like, okay, that's in the basket already.
I always like that on the description. It's like, definitely gonna give a shot at this.
Because I trust because they normally designers, if they don't do it themselves, they pay someone to do it for them who that is their job, is just to work out where the best supports will go and make it perfect. And I'm like, yep, I trust you more than I trust myself. Well, we've come to the end. That's 55 minutes. It's about time.
Right. That flew by.
But it was so much fun. Thank you so much for coming on and like telling people more about My Mini Factory, because I think there's still a lot of people out there who haven't heard about how awesome you are, and they should. It makes me sad that they haven't. So I'm very glad that you could come in and talk to us about the new crowdfunder and all of the cool stuff that's going on. It's been really nice to chat to you.
Thank you very much for having me. Yes, I would very much like to come back on. It was great.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to spam the chat because I haven't had any questions come in from anyone. Must mean that we've done our jobs well. So first spam is the free miniature. So make sure you go get yourself the free miniature. I will put the link for this as well into the Facebook and the YouTube VODs, so that people who are watching this after the show will still be able to get it. If they can't see the link, they'll be able to click on it through there. So go look down below and it will be there for you. Go get that free mini because it's looking really cool. And as ever, you can find me at patreon.com/geekgirlbookworm. I'm going to say thank you to my patrons very, very quickly. Where are you? You are Boo, Timo, Tim, Brandon, Charlotte, Chris, Fenris Games, Cerberus Studios, Ben, David, Frankie, Gav, Hanno, Louis, Dreaming in Red, Bob, Paul, Richard, Silverglass, One Sick Bunny, Anton, and Liam. You are awesome and amazing, and I think you're just the best. So thank you very much, everyone, for supporting me. You know I love you. Here is the link as well to My Mini Factory, who we've been talking to all day today. Very excited. So this goes out on podcast on Monday, so you can download it from anywhere that you get podcasts from Monday afternoon. Normally it's, by the time I've got it out there, it's about 2:00 in the UK. You can get that on Apple or Google or Podbean or Pocket Cast, wherever you get your podcasts from, you can download it. Very exciting. And we have a bonus episode on Friday. I don't normally do 2 in a week because that's very stressful for me, but I'm doing one on Friday because I was asked to by my wonderful patrons. So yes, you will get bonus episode from me on Friday where I'm talking to Free League. But yes, Robert, thank you very much. Have you got anything to say to everyone before we go?
Just thank you very much for having me. Yeah, please check out mymanufactory.com. I'm sure you will find something in there that spikes your interest for sure. And yeah, I would absolutely love to come on and speak to you again very shortly when we've got some new things to talk about for sure.
Yay, perfect. Well, that's all from me, and it's all from Rob, and it's all from you guys. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Bye.
Bye.